Hello everybody, this is Kathy, Crowder's Mountain, North Carolina, and this is Barn Quilts by Mountain Visions. Now I want to show you what I've got today. I've got these 3 snowmen that someone had asked me to paint. And I'm going to show you the colors to start with. And the one thing that I want to try to do better is to put things in the description below. So check there for the paint colors and other things, but I'm going to call them out to you first so that you'll see them. And I'm going to do it at the beginning of the video this time, so that I know that I won't forget. Thank you for joining me again. And thank you for your patience. I don't upload as much as I used to. And I just hope you subscribe and hit notification bell so when I do upload a video, then you'll get the notification for it. And all my patterns are free. I don't put a pattern on here if I know that it's copyrighted, someone's selling the pattern on Etsy that they developed. I don't show that on this channel. I just do the ones that are free and the ones that I create. So anyway, here's the 3 snowmen that I painted. And for this little guy's hat, I used Tantalizing Teal. And I put a little drop of white in it to get the lighter color up here. Alright. Then for this hat and all the buttons and eyes, I used Limousine Black. And for his scarf, I used Scarlett Sun with a little white. And for this guy's scarf and hat, I used blue china with a little white in it to get the lighter colors. Now for the background here, I used Colonial Blue because I wanted it to look more like a blue sky so the white would pop out. Alright, now for the nose, I used Ultra Orange. I'm trying to put them up here in case you wanted to take a screenshot of that so you'd have it. But again, I'm going to try to put it in the description. Okay, for my snowflakes, I used pure, ultra pure white. Alright, now let's move these over so I can get to the snowman. Alright, for all their faces, I used ultra white. Now this one was ultra pure white. This is ultra white. I just wanted to give the snowmen a little bit of dimension and character, so I used different shades of white. You wouldn't have to do that if you didn't want to. But if you have some pure white or some bright white, something like that, you could put a drop of brown in it, just a little tiny drop, and mix it up and have different shades, or a little drop of gray or something like that. But you don't want to get it too dark. But anyway, for this section here, and you'll see that I've just divided it into like 4 pieces of pie. I used Radison White here. And then, let's see, I said the face, these 2 sections, and this section was the ultra white. And for this section at the bottom here, I used Pacific Pearl. And for these 2, on every one of them, and this one at the top, I used Pale Bloom. So there you go. I've got them all turned up where the label is. All right, and here's the thing that I'm gonna try to start doing it too, along with doing a better job at the description. I started labeling these. I hadn't got them all labeled, you'll see that, but I've tried to start labeling my bottles. Like this blue china is Valspar Seasoned Flex Semi-Gloss. So I've tried to start doing that. So when I tell you what colors, I can also tell you what brand it is, because people are asking for that. Now, most of them are Valspar, but I will go back in the description and tell you what, if this is, I only use Behr or Valspar. That's the kinds that I've used. Now for these whites, I didn't go out and buy whole quarts of white. When I started to do this, I was going to paint, and I'm still going to do that, a dahlia. And I wanted it to be a white dahlia. And I've got a dahlia, I'll try to link it to the end of this video, but I've got a pink dahlia on my channel if you wanted to do one for springtime. But I want to do a white one with a background of green and then frame it in brown. But anyway, I digressed. I want to, all these different shades of white, and I didn't want to buy quarts of white, so I did buy samples. And it's from Home Depot, and they said they're exterior. But now, I don't buy samples if I'm gifting a barn quilt to somebody, or if somebody wants me to paint them one. I don't use samples. Other people do, and to each his own. That's what I say. You do your art and I do mine. We all do our own art. And we're all good. And we're probably all right. It probably don't make a difference, but I just worry about that sample not being real paint and how long that it will hold up outside. All right, let's get rid of this and get these over here out of the way so I don't knock them off. All right, here's your barn quilt. And you take if you're a seasoned barn quilt painter, you can probably just take a picture of this and do it yourself. But for those who are not, I want to show you how I got all mine the same size. And if you want to do one, you can make them different sizes. But I wanted all my 3 little snowmen the same size. Alright. So, let me get my Sharpies. Because remember, I draw it on paper just so I can use Sharpies and you guys can see the pattern. And I'll show you what I use to draw it onto my board. Okay, here you go. Got different colors so that you can see how I'm drawing this. Now, the first thing that I did, well, let me back it up. I told you I'd show you what I used to draw it on the board. Now I'm using the magic marker, the Sharpies, to draw it on this paper. But when I draw it on my board to paint, I've been using this heat erasable pens by Ibotti, I-B-O-T-T-I. Now I love them, but there's a lot of white that comes with it, and I can't find the refills that are, I can find refills that are like a real sharp edge to them, but I like that roller, the roller ball on the end of it. And so I trying to find something. I just happened across these, and there's no way that I can pronounce that word. Jinuphion. I'll just wait and let somebody else tell me how to say that instead of butchering it. But anyway, these pens, I'll open it up where you can see it. I don't have one here. I made 21 mailbox hangers. They were 12 by 18, front and back. And then I drew these snowmen with one pen. And it just run out. And I think that was my fault because I left the top off of it. I think it dried out on me. So, let me get another. I've already wore these out by washing it. I can't even see the end of it. Let me get another one. Okay, I don't even know if the camera was running or not. It seemed like it just cut off. But anyway, these blocks are 8 by 8. In case it didn't, I just marked over up 8 and then 8 and just drew my 8 by 8 blocks. These blocks need to be 6 by 6. So to get that, I'm going to go up 6. Right here, I'm lining it up with this other block. And there's one. And go there and here. And I'll show you how I got the 6-inch blocks there in a minute. Hang on. Alright, so I got my 6 by 6, right? Now I done that just for a guideline. So I'm putting my ruler back here. And I got 16 and 24, so I got 8 inches across. So I'm going in 1 inch here and 1 inch here, because I only want this block 6. So I already got the guideline here. So I'm going to do that over here. Because I don't want all my blocks 8. I want the bottom ones 8 inches, 8 by 8, and I want the second row to be 6 by 6. So I'm just going to draw my line across here just so that I can get the line straight. And then let me go ahead and mark these two. It would not hurt. And see, I'm marking these. That's an 8-inch line, and I'm marking them the same way I did the other line. But now I can just connect my dots. Does that make sense? I'm just making sure my blocks here. That's that enough. I'm making sure my block here is 6 by 6. So this is where the heat erasable, or you could call them washable, pens go. See, I got 8 by 8, 6 by 6. This one is going to be 5 by 5. So I'm going to do the same thing. And actually, I'm going to pull this down so that I can reach it. here's 5. And over here's 5. And I can go ahead and get that top line. And like I said, here's where the heat erasable pens, the washable pens, whatever you want to call them, that's where they come in handy, because a lot of these are just guidelines. You're not really going to be using these. It's just a framework for our circles. So okay, so this one is 6 inches, and if I want that one to be 5, I'm just going to make me a tick mark. I'm going in a 1/2 inch on each side. Okay, now up here I need to go in 1.5 inches, and then so I got 1.5 inches here, and I need to mark that at 17.5. So that's straight there. You know what, let me do this, that would make it easier. So I can line that up with that, and that'll go in 1/2 inch. So let me line this one up with that. And so I'm gonna go in a 1/2 inch right there. Does that make sense? Or I could just do this. I don't have to make all the dotted lines, do I? Oops. I just want a place marked. Alright, so now I'm going in a 1/2 inch here. So this is actually going to be my tick mark. And if you've got different color of heat erasable pens, I'm just doing this so I won't forget. If you got different color heat erasable pens, that's where that would come in handy to do with a different color. So I need to come in a 1/2 inch here. Alright, I think that would be easier. So here's our mark. Now these are 5 by 5. See, that's 5 by 5. Now there was probably more than one way to get to that. 1.5, 6.5, and yeah, 9.5. Same way over here. Was that confusing enough for you? I just showed you 2 or 3 different ways to get that. But we got it. Alright, now we're going to draw our snowmen, and we'll draw those in red. Now, before we can draw the circles, what we need to do is find the center of each one of our blocks. Now, I'm not going to bore you to death with doing all 9 of them. I'll just show you the center one, okay? Alright, here's what I did to get to that center. Alright, I just went diagonally across my block. And I'll tell you what I'll do. No, I'll just use this. I'll start to use a pencil. I'll just use this. And I went diagonally across this block. Now you need to find the center, no matter if you're going to put different colors on your snowman or not. You still need the center to draw the circle. And let's find the center of this one. Now this thing, you may want to take snapshots as I go, because it's going to get really busy in this a little bit. And you know, when you're painting and drawing at the same time, that's why I had ridges on mine, but you won't be doing that. So a lot of these are guidelines. So just kind of keep that in mind, especially if you're using a pencil or an eraser. Just draw real light, because you're going to have so much eraser trash you ain't gonna be able to stand it. It's going to drive you crazy. Alright, so I just did these. Now we're going to draw our circle, and I'm going to come back and do them off camera, because you won't need to see that 3 times. Alright, so I'm putting my pen in the center of that circle. Yep. Alright, now let's draw a snowman in blue. No, we don't. We've already used blue. Let's use black. We'll hope that it'll go down in there. Alright, so I'm putting my circle maker here. Again, if you got a ruler, this one, if you got a wooden ruler, you could put your holes in it with a drill. You could, on this particular one, you could use a 1-foot ruler to do it. But I've got, this is called a demonstration compass, and I found it on Amazon. And it had a suction cup to it. I think I've told y'all that before, and I tore it off because I wanted my hole to be right there. Alright, so I'm sticking my Sharpie down in there, and hopefully it's going to work. And I got it on that line, and it's working. Okay, so there's that circle. Now see, you got the bottom of the snowman. Alright. Wasn't as strong as I thought I was. Alright, now let's do this one. And we have to adjust that. Let's see, that won't go back no farther, so I'll use this one. Use that little hole right there. And hope my pen will go down in there. If not, we'll use a pencil. It might not go down in there. Let's get a pencil. Something dark. So y'all can see it. And what I'm doing is just kind of tugging on that. Alright, there's that. And one more. pull it down where I can reach it. There you go. Now, well, flat head, didn't he? A flat chin. There you go. That I must have didn't keep it. I didn't keep it snug enough against that, and it got off down there. But we got it now. Now, let me do these other 6 off camera, so you don't have to watch that, and I'll be right back. Okay, here we go. All right. What I want to show y'all is how I did the other things that go on it. Now, let me see if I can lay this up here. I did want to tell you, and I've told you this before, if you don't have any of this, this is flip chart paper, and I've just flipped it over on the back side so it don't have a graph to it. But if you don't want to order any of this, don't worry about it. Just get some old wrapping paper. And you see these grid lines in the wrapping paper? You can just cut that to fit. They're 1 by 1. So you could just use that, actually. Or even if it didn't have a grid line on it, you can just draw. You can measure it 24 by 24 and draw on it. And you know, most people got old wrapping paper laying around that they're tired of using. Tired of seeing the same thing every year. Some of these rolls get so big, I'm like, man, I'll be glad when I finish that. Okay, let's stop talking about that. Let's do the hats first. Now, and that's just real simple. All I did was just found my center line right here, and I went up. How far did I go up? About 3 inches from this circle. I lined it up with these marks here. Let's put me a tick mark. I'm going to do the same thing here. And this is going to be a hat, so I'm going up 3 inches. And go up another 3 inches. Alright, so for that hat, I went out. You want to try to make sure the hat just kind of lines up with its head right here. So you can make it as tall up here as you want to. You know, I probably need to get another pencil, another color. Let's do it green. So just anywhere down in here on his face, and as long as you've got 2 inches up here, and just kind of go out at an angle, and then, no, that's not right, 2 inches here, I'm sorry, 2 inches here, and then go up. So forget that I said that. Alright, just start somewhere here and angle it out a little, just a little bit, and go up 2 inches. And then just go in. So that'll be the top of his head. And then right here, just right in the center here, just go in. You see that? And then what I did, just wherever you want to make the top of the hat, I just went that way. Now, you'll notice that in here, when I come across here, I just rounded it. But you don't have to do that if you don't want to. It'll still look fine. Okay, let's do it again. Right in here, I angled it out 2 inches. And you're just trying to make it, give it a shape. That's all you're doing. And then, right in here. All right, does that make sense? Okay. Now, for this, see, I went out, I found the middle here. That's the top hat. Right here. We're doing that one now. And I found that, I got my mark on that, and so, let's see. From the sides of this line, this guideline, I went in a 1/2 inch. But you can make yours, your hat, whatever size you want to. And then I just went up a 1/2 inch. If you want yours bigger, that'd be all right. And then I came in 3/4 inch on each side of here, and I went up 1.5 inches. I'm just crawling over top of this board. I hope you can see that. So that would be your black hat sitting on its head. Now you could come down. You could come down a little bit more if you wanted the hat to look more like you take that round part off of his head. You can just make it a little bit wider, or you can make it taller. You could make that a little bit taller going up to that point if you wanted to. But anyway, so now the scarves was pretty simple to do, really. I just laid my ruler down here, and see, I wanted to get rid of these where the circles was touching each other. See that? Where the circles was touching each other, I didn't want that showing. And I didn't worry about it because I knew I was going to put scarves on it. So you could just kind of get in the center of that as best you can. And just, I drew 4 inches. And I came down here and drew 4 more. And then, now you could make it square if you don't like doing, you know, rounding anything. But I wanted my scarf a little bit rounder, so that's all I did. You see that? And then for the rest of the scarf, I just made it like a 1/2 inch wide. And then I made this one a little bit shorter. About halfway. You see that? And you could make it longer if you wanted to, and wider if you wanted to. It's going to be up to you. So you can make it down like that. So you see, your scarf would be that long. Alright, I'll do these. And it's okay if they're not exactly alike, because you really don't want them being exactly alike. So I put this, where the scarf twists around, I put it on the right side, and this one, I put it on the middle. Or in the middle. And let's do this one. Now this video may get a little bit long, y'all. But we're almost finished. So you just make it the way you want it, these scarves. It don't have to be an exact measurement. Alright, now what I did, just so you could see it better, you notice that I put light, whatever, I told you with this Scarlett Sun, I put a little bit of white in it so that I make my dots. Well, you don't have to make the dots if you don't want to, but what I did on that short piece of his scarf so that it would show up, I used the light background with the dark dots. Same way on these two. And that hat, you could just make it all one color if you want to. Now, before I forget to tell you, I used, let me show you. For the little ball on top of the hat, I used a sponge. I just dipped it in my paint and stuck it down on there. I had another one for this one. Now you could also put a little ribbon right here with a little piece of holly or something. But I didn't want mine to be too Christmassy because I want to hang it up now because it's winter time. I didn't want anything Christmassy on it. But if I was doing it during Christmas, I'd probably put some holly on it. Okay. Now, let's see. For the eyes, again, I just used a smaller version of that and just made my eyes and the 3 dots, the 3 buttons. Here I only made 2 buttons. I'm not going to draw those on there because you can do it. It's just that little brown sponge. I think I threw it in the trash. Hang on. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I went rumbling through the trash to get these out. I shouldn't have thrown them away until I showed you. But like I said, I used the big one. This is not the giant one. It's kind of maybe the 3rd or 4th one up for this. And then for the eyes, see this little tiny one? I'll put it down here. See this little tiny one? I done that for the mouth. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I started to. And it was still too big. But for the eyes, I used the next one up from that. And just made the eyes and the buttons. You see that, to me, this scarf is covering up that 3rd button. But here's how I made that mouth. I took the end of an eraser, a mechanical pencil, and I used that eraser, and I just stuck it in my paint and dabbed it on there like that. I put that one first and then done the other ones. So you can make the mouth as big as you want to. Okay, and the only other thing that I did that, I told you I didn't want these circles showing. Well, when you're painting, you'll have this drawn on there already, and so you won't paint this down in here. You're going to paint all that the same color as your scarf. But let's see, what was I going to tell you again? I was going to tell you something else. For the snowflakes that's up in here. Yeah, let me tell you that. Then I'm going to tell you something about this. All right, for the snowflakes, I just had some plastic stencils, and I just cut out the ones that I liked. I taped them down with my painter's tape and dabbed over them. And I think I used one that size, but it wouldn't really matter. And I just dabbed over them, and I only did one coat, because every time I start to do 2 or 3 coats, I mess it up. So I only did one coat on my snowflakes, see? And they turned out all right. I liked them. And you can just place them wherever you want them. Now, the next thing I want to show you, I'm going to do that in brown, is, and we're almost finished. You see how that, this is the white, and it came down into that circle, and that was fine. I left that white. But see on the sides here where they touching each other, well, for, you know, I cleaned that up while putting a scarf on them. But for here, all I did, I wanted them to look more like a snowman. And so I just came in and done that. See that? I'm hoping y'all taking screenshots as I go, if you hadn't already hung up on me. If you're still here. Alright. If you're still here, I'm going to show you the tape I used to make my curves and stuff. Alright. So that's how I did that. I just made all that bright white and all this bright white. So it just sort of gave it a more uniform look instead of choppy. But you can do it whatever way you want to. Now, I'm going to insert just some little videos here to show you as I went along what the taping looked like and some of the painting. But let me show you the tape I used. I've got this 1/8 inch. It's a pinstripe tape. And I'll just put it on here. So what I did was just, you can curve this real easy. So I just went around it with my finger like that, see, and curved it in. Now you'll see that on these video clips that I'm getting ready to insert. But that's 1/8 inch tape, and then you'll see that I've taken some of my yellow tape and went around the edges, because I cannot be that precise when I'm painting. I just have to have more extra leeway there. Alright, I think that's all that I was going to show you. Take a screenshot of that if you want to try to paint one. And you know to put the eyes and stuff. And I think I showed you these colors. I showed you how I did that in different shades of white. I told you that in the beginning. So I think we're done. Just take a screenshot of it, and I hope that made sense to you. And you see how I done the carrot noses? I didn't want them all going one way, so it's straight down here, And that's just like a 1/2 inch, and then I just made sure it angled in. And this way I just made sure it angled in. And his, I made the flat part up on top, so his would be a little bit more centered, but I had to make it go to the right so it wouldn't go straight down. Alright, take your screenshot. And again, I'm going to try to put, there was something else, another video I was talking about earlier, and I'll link it to the back. But this being the end of January, I do have some Valentine barn quilt tutorials up, and if I can figure it out, I'll link them to the end too, so you can just click on that and watch it. But I have a couple of Valentine. I got Swooning Heart, and seems like I've got a couple more, but I'll look and see. Anyway, I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks for joining me. I hope you click subscribe and click the bell for notifications and hit like. But leave me some comments in the bottom below here, and let me know what other kinds of barn quilts that you would like me to paint, or any other tips or tricks that you need to figure out. I'll talk to y'all later. See you in the next video. Happy painting.